Okay, limiting distance. I know it's quite confusing, but I'm going to go over it right now. So, limiting distance, the main table we're going to use is this 9.10.14.4 table A. And if I'm looking at this, I can see here we're focusing on residential because that's the occupancy we're type of building we're dealing with here. And along this column here is the maximum total area of exposed building face in meters squared. So we need to figure out that surface area of our wall. And then our maximum aggregate area of unprotected openings. So unprotected openings being regular glass windows, and we need to take those area calculations. Now, if we have multiple windows, we need to take the area of one and add it to the area of the others. So when it says aggregate area, it means the addition. So you're adding each surface area of all your windows. You calculate the area for each window and then you add them all together. And that is in relation to as a percentage of the exposed building face. And the limiting distance is the meters from the property line. So if I look, for example, and a great demonstration or a graphic is in your notes. So this is part 9 notes, the 9, 10, 15, 4, and this will help you work through that as well. So here I can see this is a stepped wall, and so this is going to be a prime example for the floor plan that we're using. I can see that this wall that is 0.4 meters from the property line, I can, and this is the width, and it also tells me here's the exposed building face. So I have the total length is 16.6 meters. So I can see that here. My height, so you're going to use your height to give you your total area. You want to make sure it's in the same units. So this isn't 16 feet and 6, or sorry, if we're doing it in square feet, for instance, this wouldn't be 16 feet 6 inches. This would be 16 points. So if they're inches, we need to calculate them into feet, and then or we can convert it right into meters and do square meters. So the total area of this entire wall is 40 square meters. So I can see that, but this portion of the wall, the permitted openings are 0%. So this portion of the wall, because it is so close to the property line, it's 0.4 meters. There is no percentage of glazed openings allowed. So if I look here, and if it's less than 1.2 meters, no matter what the surface area of that face is, I'm not allowed any unprotected openings. Now, as we get further away from the property line and the limiting distance is increasing, so in this case, this portion of the wall is 1.2 meters from the property line. I can see that for that face of the wall, I'm allowed 7% of the permitted of glazed openings. So then this wall length is 3 meters times my height, which is 2.4 meters, times 0.07%, or because I need to put this in a decimal, equals the allowable aggregate area of glazed openings. So it's 0.5 meters squared. Now, when we're doing we've already determined the window openings. Now we need to make sure, so this could tell me how much I'm allowed square footage or square meters of window openings I'm allowed. But in this case, we've already placed our windows. We want to see and make sure that the windows that we've placed in the area we have allowed fits into these requirements. So I'm going to use our example. Here is the area of the wall. If I'm looking at the site plan, which you guys don't have, which is fine, but it has the information given, I can see that this setback, this is the only wall of concern because of its proximity to the property line. And I can see that it's 10 feet and 6.5 inches from the property line. If I go to here, I can see that this 10 foot, 10.5 feet, right? Because it's 10 foot 6, 10 feet and 6 inches equals 3.2 meters. So I need to calculate my wall size. So I have this 40 feet by 20 feet and 5 3/4 inches. What you can also do is use your elevations and draw an area, and you can see that it's dashed here and that's representing the wall area. And in Vectorworks, that will give you your area. So you're going to need to either do that on your design layers, or you can go into your viewport and either do it on your design layers or on your annotations to be at the correct scale. If you just do it on top of your elevations on your sheet layer, it's going to be at a 1:1 scale. So I need my wall size opening, and you can also do that for your window opening. So in this case, they also have a window schedule, so you can figure out the areas. So this window plus this window plus this window times the area all added together is 9 square meters. The wall size for the entire wall in this case is 75.8 square meters. So I take my 9 and I divide it by 9 square meters divided by 75.8. So then I go 9 divided by 75.8 equals 0.11, or if I'm making that into a percentage, I get 11% or 11.9%, okay, which is here. So I want to make sure I'm showing the information, my distance to property line relative to your plan. I'm calculating what the aggregate area of the total opening size, so the area of this window plus the area of this window plus the area of this window. I'm calculating the area of the entire wall surface. I divide the aggregate opening by the wall size to get my percentage, and then I go to my table. So in this case, the square meters, my wall size is 75.8 square meters. I go to the table, exposing building face is 75.8 square meters. So it is larger than this 50, but so I have to go to the 100 row. And then I will go, so this is the row I'm referencing. My limiting distance was 3.2 meters, so I can't use this column. I have to use this column because this is the maximum. This is the limiting distance. This is the maximum. So I can't, it's 3.2 is greater than 2. So then I go under 4. I'm at this column. So the maximum aggregate area percentage I'm allowed is 18. And I've done the calculation. So the current openings are 11.9%. So really, if I wanted to add more window on that wall, I would be able to do that up until it reaches the percentage of, in this case, 18%. So I'm gonna need it to do it for this wall because it's close to the property line, and I'd also need to do it for this wall. I'm not gonna necessarily need to do it for the front and back because they have large setbacks. So you can see that when you get to 8 meters from the property line, which even 6, we can have 100% of the building face be our glazed openings up until 50 square meters. And then we're still getting, if the exposed building face is 100 square meters and or up to 100 square meters, then I can have 56%. So we're still, and then as we get even bigger, it's irrelevant. So please read through notes 9, 10, 15, 4, 2. Under in your part 9 notes, that will help you go through it and it explains step by step. Then you're going to want to, so you are going to need to include each of these measurements relative to your plan. And then you are going to look at the table 9, 10, 14, 4. We're only going to be focusing on these rows because we're residential. Calculate your building face so you're to determine which row you're using, and then depending how far from the property line is going to dictate which column you're using, and then this is your allowable percentage. So you just need to make sure your percentage is under this value. Any more questions, please let me know.